So, my stepmom is demanding I actually give away my wedding venue to my stepsister because apparently, I can't have a big fancy wedding and my stepsister doesn't. So guys, you know what? I agreed. Oh, why would I agree, you ask? Let me tell you. I'm 28 and female, and I seriously cannot believe I'm writing this. I don't even know where to begin, in all honesty. A few months ago, my fiancé and I went on a beautiful Caribbean vacation that we planned for months. He surprised me with a proposal while we were there, and when we got back, we announced it to our close friends and family. My father lives with my stepfamily, whom I'm not particularly fond of. They came into our lives 2 years after my mother passed when I was 10 years of age, and ever since then I've done their best just to make my life a living hell, I'd say. My stepmother, Linda, always insisted on her precious baby getting the best of the best, being a delicate child and needing to be prioritized. When my stepsister, Stacy, was overwhelmed and needed a break, she was whisked off to Disneyland while I was forced to stay home and look after the dog she threw a tantrum for, whom she has never once cared for and doesn't even play with. I, of course, spent most of my life training, feeding, walking, and looking after her little darling pet. Anyways, it's always been exactly like this, and I mean always. Anything Stacy needed, she got immediately, either at my expense or while I was cast aside. Be it vacations I was forced to sit out, shopping trips I was excluded from, or Christmas gifts that I had to settle for because no expense could be spared on her. I could not adapt cats because if I did, who would care for Stacy's dog? I could not get a new phone because the money needed to go into Stacy's new car. I could not come on a family outing to see my grandfather because Stacy feels left out when I go since she's not blood related. So it's better if I don't go at all. You get the gist of it. It's not like I was starved or treated as a servant, but I was clearly never the priority in our household, so I moved out as soon as I could, and that may have been the best decision of my life. I met my now fiancé, graduated college, bloomed in my industry, adopted 2 cats, and I even own a beautiful home now. Soon after we got back, we paid a visit to my father's home as an engaged couple, more out of duty than out of love. I wasn't looking forward to seeing Stacy or Linda at all. To my surprise, outside of my father's side of the family, there was also an unknown man at my father's home. He introduced himself as Stacy's boyfriend, George. A professional doctor. Well, I did not expect her to be dating a decent man in the slightest, as her taste has always been, questionable. The dinner went well, everybody congratulated us, and I could see Stacy getting visibly uncomfortable with the amount of tension on me and the lack of attention on her. Finally, while desserts were being brought out and she was getting increasingly fidgety, I noticed her kick her boyfriend under the table repeatedly until lo and behold he stood up and cleared his throat to make an announcement. He ended up half-heartedly proposing to Stacy, who, by the way, was over the moon. His explanation was that since she was such a, quote, family-oriented girl, he thought it would be perfect to do it when, her elder sister whom she looked up to so much was finally home. The poor man was clearly uncomfortable with what had just transpired and looked like he was being held in our own home against his will. The family fell into an awkward silence because honestly, a proposal at someone else's engagement dinner? Who would do that? There was some quiet, congratulatory dialogue and my fiancé and I left soon after the dessert, not wanting to create a scene. After all, I was used to Stacy's silly antics and knew in my gut that the only reason she forced George to propose to her then and there was for the attention and to be absolutely petty. She probably could not handle the thought of me getting married first. None of this bothered me as much as the phone call I received last evening. My stepmother, Linda, called with the sweetest tone I've ever heard drip out of her mouth. I knew instantly that she wanted something from me, and I hoped it was not money, as I've never made it evident to my family that my fiancé and I were doing well in our careers and earning comfortably. I made small talk with her until she got to her point, and even I could not have been prepared for her demands despite knowing how ridiculous the family can be. She told me that she had heard that my wedding plans had been finalized, and, invitations would be sent out soon. And she wanted to reach out to me before those invites could finally be mailed. Oh, okay. She then said that since Stacy's engagement, Stacy had been struggling with wedding planning and was completely overwhelmed. Knowing how sensitive and delicate my younger sister is, she hoped that I would consider gifting her my entire wedding as my wedding gift to her. That way, everything would be paid for, planned, and ready for Stacy's wedding with minimal effort so she would not be stressed or overwhelmed. In truth, the wedding I planned was small and budget-friendly. It was not my dream wedding, but with my dream venue being unavailable for the next 3 years, my spirit had been dampened. And Bryan and I had chosen to have a small affair instead. Of course, Linda was not aware of this, or she would not touch it with a 10-foot pole. I have not told her yet, but I can't believe the audacity. How can she ask me to gift her daughter my whole wedding? Guys, what do I do in this situation? I know most common sense approach would be to tell her to kick rocks, but I'm wondering if this is an opportunity for me to exact some sort of petty revenge. Maybe send them to a venue that doesn't even exist, or, I don't know, some random date. What do you guys think? Should I be the big person, or should I go all out? I've already apologized and said that I could not do that for her for now, but knowing Linda, she'll be back to insist and put pressure on me sooner or later. I spoke to my fiancé about this, and he was in complete disbelief. He definitely does not want to take the high road here. Update number 1. Hey guys, it's me, I'm back, and I did not expect to be updating you guys so soon, as if only been a couple of days. But a lot's unfolded. To begin with, Linda's gone from requesting I give Stacy my wedding to downright demanding it and threatening me. She maintains that if I don't give Stacy my venue, she's going to ensure that nobody from the family, including my father, will come to the wedding. I don't know what kind of control she thinks she has over them. My relationship with my father has always been strained since Linda and Stacy entered our lives. He never looked out for me or showed me any affection. My uncles think it's because I look like a carbon copy of my mom, but either way, that does not excuse you from treating a 12-year-old like crap. I would be okay with my father not being at my wedding and not walking me down the aisle. However, I'm very close to my cousins and uncles and would be devastated if they did not make it. I know they aren't fond of Linda and Stacy either, especially because of how they treated me growing up. But I don't know if Linda would rely on a request to stop them from coming to my wedding. I don't know what that woman's capable of, and her threats have me worried for their safety. While most of you agreed with the fact that I should take this opportunity to have my revenge and come up with a brilliant idea, some of you insisted that I take the high road and go absolutely no contact. With Linda's new threats, I don't think either option is very viable. Anyways, I'm starting to feel like I'll have to give in to her demands. Is there anything I can even do in this situation, guys? Are there any laws that can help me? Part of me's ready to give in to avoid the drama, but I can't take it anymore. I really can't. I hate that they always get their way at my expense, and I'm tired of it. And I would like to fight back. My fiancé has, as always, been my support system. He's unrelenting in his stance that I should teach them a lesson and is ready to fight by my side. It's nice to have someone with me in situations against my stepfamily. He's doing what my father never bothered to do. Anyways, guys, I will update you if something comes up. But we need to get our heads together and figure this out right now. I'll start by contacting my father's family and seeing if Linda has any hold over them. Wish me luck. Update number 2. So, I've been doing some intense detective work for the last couple of weeks, and I've contacted my dad's entire family, grandparents, uncles, aunts, cousins, etc. Linda has nothing to hold over them and was most probably dishing out empty threats, but regardless, they all promised to be at my wedding, come high hell or water. So, that has been extremely comforting. In other happy news, my maternal aunt reached out to me. Apparently, the owner of my dream wedding venue is close friends with her partner and mentioned in passing that a date opened up a month down the line due to a sudden cancellation. She immediately asked him to put it on hold while she contacted me. and my fiancé agreed to shift our wedding, no questions asked. The date is much earlier than we anticipated, but it falls on my mother's birthday, which is very sentimental coincidence. We're also getting it heavily discounted due to a connection, and I'm currently coordinating with friends and family who are abroad to make sure they'll be able to be back in time and have places to stay. This is all very overwhelming and nothing short of miraculous. Now that we have a larger venue, we're organizing a much bigger affair. More guests, higher quality food, a band, a dance floor, fireworks. I mean, come on. It will be the perfect celebration for our love. And Bryan and I can hardly wait. We're so lucky to be able to afford it and so grateful for the family that's continued to support us, especially through the lows. This means the previous venue is free 3 months after our new wedding date, and we've kept the news of our new lavish wedding under wraps from my father and stepfamily. Nobody in the family is to discuss anything remotely related to us with them. I still get calls from Linda daily, taunting me and asking if I've decided yet. With the old venue free and all the vendors shifting to the new venue and date except for the caterers, I'm continuing to consider my petty revenge. My husband thinks I should forlornly agree to gift my wedding to Stacy and let Linda feel like she's accomplished something until the day of our wedding comes, and they find out through social media, since my father will also not be invited. The venue and caterer for the old date have also only received a down payment from me. If I shift the bills to Linda's name, once the old wedding date comes and goes, they'll be expected to pay the major remaining amount. Something they will not see coming. Anyways, what do you guys think of my plan? Is there anything better that you can come up with? Let me know in the comment section. Update number 3. There are so many juicy details to share with you. It's been a few weeks since my last update, and I finally and very sadly agreed to, quote, gift my wedding venue to Stella. Linda was overjoyed that she had exerted her power over me and managed to, quote, put me in my place. Her words, not mine. So, Stacy reached out and asked about my wedding dress since I apparently would not be having my wedding anytime soon, but I sent her a picture of the ugliest, frumpiest gown I could find on the interwebs, and she left me alone. I guess she has to invest in something. Her fiancé also reached out to me and asked me to, coffee so he could apologize. Which I did not see coming, but hey, I went ahead to accept it anyways, regardless, since I wanted to know what he had to say. We met, and he apologized for the proposal and told me he did not have much of a choice. I laughed it off and told him I understood and not to worry since I've been dealing with Stacy for years. He looked confused and asked me what I meant by that. I spent the next hour and a half explaining my life with Stacy. He was in shock. Linda and Stacy had portrayed our relationship as extremely healthy and sisterly. They also made it seem like I had issues growing up and Stacy was always by my side, helping me grow socially and mentally. It sounded absolutely ridiculous, I know. He told me he wasn't ready to marry Stacy as they had only been dating for 3 months before she heard about my engagement, and instead of him proposing to her, he doesn't know how to get out of it and has been extremely stressed since the dinner. I told him to put himself first and I just wished him the best, which I believe is definitely not Stacy. In the meantime, Linda has happily sent out invites for Stacy's wedding and assumes that everything else from the food to the decor to music has been paid for and organized by moi. The entire family has RSVP'd. Yes, and unsurprisingly, I have not received an invite because I might take the attention away from Stacy, since I was supposed to, it'd be my wedding. Aside from the food and venue, I've contributed nothing to Stacy's wedding. Guys, there's no decor. There's no tables, no chairs, no floral arrangements, no music. But I also have a feeling that with the way that George spoke, there won't be a wedding either. Yes, as evil as it sounds, I can't wait for the date to come and watch all this unfold. I know it's not the best thing to do, and bad karma could hit me later on, but after everything the two of them have put me through, I feel like if even it's a minor thing, they're getting, they're just desserts. Update number 4. Hey guys, I know, it has been a few months. And my fiancé is now officially my husband. Our wedding went off without a hitch, and it was amazing. The decoration was fantastic, the venue was beautiful, and all of our family and friends were present to celebrate with us. We ate, we danced, we drank, and sang through the evening, and could not have had it any other way. When Linda caught wind of it through post on my cousin's social media, she immediately began blowing up my phone. But I did not find out until later because my lovely maid of honor kept it with her throughout the deal. Well, I also did not know that my bridal party went out of their way to hire a security team in case Linda and Stacy tried to gate crash my wedding. Which, they did. Apparently, Linda caused quite a commotion at the front gate when she wasn't allowed in, but nobody batted an eye, and my maid of honor threatened to involve the police if she didn't leave, which just about did it. Of course, I didn't know any of this until much later, and I'm extremely grateful. I can't imagine having another life event ruined by these two. My father also reached out to me with a text message asking why he wasn't informed and upset that he missed the chance to walk me down the aisle. I responded, letting him know that the uncles who have been there for me throughout my childhood while he was busy prioritizing Stacy walked me down the aisle together. And it was a beautiful moment, and that I would send him the pictures when they came through. I also told him not to worry because he could walk his daughter down the aisle in just a few months when Stacy gets married. As for not inviting him, I told him I no longer wanted anything to do with his manipulative, pathetic excuse of a wife and a stepchild. And as long as they were part of his life, he could not be a part of mine. I then wished him the best with his future with the two of them and blocked his number. I also blocked Linda and Stacy's number, and since they never even attempted to reach out to me before unless they needed something, they don't know where I live. They've tried to ask my family for my address and to pass my messages on, but every single person has refused. And as far as I know, Linda is extremely bitter about it. My uncles have decided to no longer invite my father and stepfamily to events now since I've cut them off. They insisted that they would rather have me there than my father, and they knew I would not show up if Linda and Stacy were there. Anyways, that's all for now. I hope I don't run into any of them in town. I'll update you guys once again once Stacy's so-called wedding is over. Update number 5. And that's a wrap. Stacy's wedding was last week, and she showed up to the bare-bones venue and was shocked to see nothing prepared for her wedding. Somehow Linda got my work number and began bombarding me with text messages and calls, asking me how I could dare to do something like this to her precious child. I responded to her text telling her that she wanted my old wedding, and she got what was left of it and enjoyed the fried chicken. Then I blocked her and moved on. I guess none of it mattered because nobody aside from Linda's family and Stacy's friends showed up anyways, not even the groom. That's right, George decided to dump Stacy. Not by a call, not by a text, or in person, but just not showing up at all. Stacy was in tears and completely humiliated, and one cousin who went for the entertainment continuously updated us and sent us pictures on the group chat. The venue looked sad and empty, and the guests looked awkward, and Stacy had mascara streaming down her cheeks. A few days after the event, Linda must have received the bill from the venue and the caterers because she contacted Bryan's work phone this time and blew up about the amount of money we expected her to spend. He responded letting her know it was her daughter's wedding and not ours, so it was her burden. An uncle told me she tried to pursue legal action against me but had no grounds, and she signed the papers transferring the bill to her name. She didn't pay attention when I sent her the bill and thought it was for the venue. I don't know what she was thinking, but hey, it worked out in my favor. So that's it, guys. Stacy is humiliated and has gone off the grid. Linda's left in a little bit of debt, and I feel lighter and happier than ever. I've absolutely no remorse for what happened. My father did try to reach out once more, wanting to reconnect with me, but I reiterated that I wanted nothing to do with them, so long as Linda and Stacy were part of his life. If there's any other juicy little tidbits you would like to know, leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to respond. Top comments from the last post. Comment number 1 says this: "Shame on you.
How could you ruin the biggest moment in a girl's life, that and just put her mother in financial distress? It was not your place to tell her fiancé anything or leave them with the bare minimum for a wedding when they expected more. You should have paid for it, especially when you can so clearly afford it. I hope karma gets you good. Comment number 2. Ha! I love this. I followed your story since the beginning, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. This is the best revenge I've ever seen. Outside of the wedding cake in the face or red wine on her wedding dress, which would have just been the cherry on top, you deserve to have gotten your revenge on people who have mistreated you for decades. And I'm glad it was cathartic for you. I hope you continue to thrive in your life, marriage, and career. You deserve it.
So those comments I added at the end were two of the most hyped up comments from the original post. I gave two different perspectives so we can see which side you guys are on. The comment number 1, which was basically saying, shame on you, OP. I personally don't agree with that one. However, I can see how some people could consider saying, everybody sucks in this situation. I'm more leaning towards comment number 2, though, which basically says, ha, I love this, OP. I've been following along since the beginning. Anyways, I want to know where you guys lay with this story, so do drop a comment down below. Let's discuss it. Which comment are you more geared towards? Or do you think that everybody in this story was petty and they suck? Anyways, let me know. My name's Mr. Reddito, and I narrate stories every single day. So if you guys want to be a part of these daily stories, just click that subscribe button, that big red subscribe box right underneath this video. And also, check the description for my favorite playlist of some of my favorite videos, which include a lot of mother-in-law dramas. Guys, I'll see you tomorrow. And just remember, it's cool to be kind. Peace.